everyone. If you are catching up or just getting on late, you can always post this video much later on live stream as needed. But we're going to get started here. We are Deuce Space, and we are hosting webinars through this week. And today, right now at 2 p.m., we're doing Make Games with Stencil. Now, Stencil is a game engine that people can download for free at Stencyl.com. You can go right over here. If you search Stencil in Google, this should be like one of the first things that pops up. It's very easy to use. If you guys have used Scratch or maybe even other things like microbits or other type of Blockly coding, it has very similar coding like Blockly and Scratch. And yeah, you can download it for free. And it's also great for Android and other mobile devices if you want to host your games that way and share them. And that's about what I can explain. Oh, yeah, and it's also good for Flash if you guys are still using Flash out there. Fortunately being discontinued, but for the time being, still has Flash. And you also do not need any coding, but Blockly is a great way to learn coding. So once you got it downloaded, you can go ahead and open it up. I have this screen right over here. This is the Stencil main screen. And what Stencil is, besides letting you make games, it is a game engine. There's lots of game engines out there that help you build games relatively easy. Back in the ye old days, people had to build games from scratch with lots of ones and zeros. After ones and zeros, they had to do stuff like, start this, stop, start, move left, stop, and enter graphics. But now it's so much easier with game engines. So once you got your Stencil open, you can do a regular, type of kit or not. You can go to Stencil.com and download. After you download Stencil, you can actually search Crash Course, and there's Crash Course, Let's Make a Game. If you prefer not watching videos or have assisted help today, you can follow along this tutorial they have on their website. But if you're following along here, we can go ahead and you can click download here, and it will see it will download at the bottom of your browser. Now I'm letting that download for a little bit. We can go ahead. I'm going to go back to Stencil. And I just remember about the other option, but I had almost forgot about it. If you don't want to work with a kit that Stencil has, you can go to gameart.com and download your own art, or maybe you can make your own and add them. But OpenArt is a great website if you need to get like art assets real quickly. Like I can search cat, and after I search cat right up here, I can find maybe a cat fighter with some cool animations. I think this is like a little fighting cat, the cute little red headband. And you see like this thing right here is called a sprite sheet, and you can have like this whole animation going through in your game engine of a cat fighting. But today I'm going to stick to the kit because the kit already has everything set up for me. Now, if you want to add a kit, you can go, let me get my little red marker here. You can go right at kits on the left side. And once you got that all ready to go, you can click on there. And if you're already down on the Crash Course kit, it will show up right here. If not, you can instead go to, if it's not showing up at all, you can just go right over. Let me get my little marker set up. Yeah, it's not really behaving. We're all learning how to use this little Zoom thing, but I'm going to use the stamp instead. So right here, there's Create New Game. And then on the right side of the upper right, next to Create New Game, there's a thing called Import Game right there. If you click Import Game, I can just go ahead and I can go to my downloads, and I'll find my Crash Course kit right here. And I'll just click open and it imports it. And then you should see a little kits on the right side, left side, right over there. So after you got your kits all in and ready to go, You can go click on Crash Course Kit right here. Double click actually, and you'll get this big main screen right here. So right now it's going to say in the middle, this game contains no scenes. Click here to create one. So I'm going to click right here. And I get this little dialog box that says create new. I got a scene. I'm going to name it level 1. Yeah, level 1. Now, if you're wondering what a scene is, it's like your main room level, or it could be your like intro screen. It's like picture your game in different screens, like much older ones, like Mario, where you got like world 1 and you're like jumping across and running back and forth through the whole scene. There we go, word scene, and that's like where all your play exists. Or you got an intro screen that says name of your game, and we got like title, and then you got press start to start playing, and that's a scene right there. Or it could be credits. That's another scene. It's got all the credits scrolling up from the bottom. Sorry about that. Since we're all staying at home here, we know that sometimes even kids or pets get a little cramped up. So bear with me with the squeaking, unfortunately. If I do get permission in the future to show them off, I can, but sorry, just bear with me with a little bit squeaks in the background. Anyways, going back to the scene right here. Oh, you guys are really noisy today. Back to the scene right here with level 1. I got the name. You got width and height. This is not 20 pixels. I can set to pixels. You can see with the width pixels right here if you're more into having pixel size. So you can know what the true size of your screen is. If you go to tiles, that's how many 32 pixels by 32 pixels tiles there are. So 20 tiles across equals to 640 pixels across. Tile width and tile height will matter soon. I'm going to keep it 32 by 32. But with Stencil, for you to create a lot of the foreground elements is with tiles. You can find a lot of tile sets from Open Game Art. I'm going to show you guys an example real quick, what a tile set looks like. I'm going to search. It's loading, got a little loading circle right there. Da-da-da. Taking a little bit. I'm going to let that load a little longer. I'm going to skip ahead to background color, right down over here. Got color. You can either do a solid color. This is for the background. Like usually most games have like clouds in the background, night sky, stars, maybe broken down city if you're doing a zombie apocalypse kind of thing. But I'm going to keep it a nice blue for the sky. Or I can do something cooler like a vertical gradient. And I got 2 colors. You know how when you look at the sky today, unfortunately right now in Nebraska it's cloudy, but if you look at the sky, you can see that it gets darker blue as it goes up. So you can have like some variants there. I'm gonna add a little darker blue in there. Hopefully it starts, I don't remember how it starts as, but hopefully it's like dark blue to light blue going from top down. Now I'm gonna go back and see if my tile sets have finally loaded. Yes, they have finally loaded. If I click on this first one here, it says cave. I guess it's going to take a little longer. I guess a lot of people might be using Open Game Art today. I'm just going to go back right over here. So, got my vertical gradient. I'm going to click create. It's going to load a little bit, creating my first scene. I was wrong, but I'm okay with it. You see that starts lighter blue, and then it goes darker as you go down. That's a pretty good sky color there. And then on the right side over here, we see that there's tiles. Yeah, lots of tiles. This is what a tile set looks like, where like you see like a lot of elements of the world, and it looks like it's like flattened down, kind of like a UV map if you've done anything with 3D modeling before, or just picture like maybe it's like a tree and it's like flattened down. There we go. You can see right here that this is a tile set. It looks kind of normal in some parts, but what the game engine's doing is that it's splitting all these tiles into squares. And we see here that squares, I can grab parts of it and quickly build things down without creating separate elements of art. Like I can create a separate ground specifically just for this level here. and it can be really pretty. But a lot of times people in game development want to make things super quick and get it done so they can get their game tested and out and going. So tile sets here, you can use multiple of these on different levels instead of having individual files, individual images throughout your game, and it can take some memory. It'll make your game a lot slower, not nowadays, but in the past it did. So tiles is a great way to get your foregrounds elements in there fast. So we got a scene. You can get your elements from OpenGameArt or from Stencil.com. We create a background. We have a scene. I said it before. And right now, before we move on, it's really good in game development or coding or app development that every time you do something new in your product, you want to test it. Because if you do a bunch of things at once and you go to test it and it's broken, you have to go through all the things you did from like the hard work of hours you did before and figure out what's wrong. So it's a lot easier to test everything if you test it one at a time instead of everything at the same time. So on the upper right corner of Stencil, we have a thing called Test Game right here. Right now I have HTML5, so it's going to open up in a browser. If you have Flash on your computer, you can switch it to Flash. But I'm going to stick it to HTML5. So I'm going to click Test Game, loading. Let's see what window it's going to open in. Oh, Choir Sounds. Okay, I'm actually going to switch it back to Flash. Flash Player, play. If you want to go through adding different types of sounds, you can do that. Looks like my sounds that already are in the kit are not the proper file type. So, oh, there it is. Have to go find it. I'm just going to close this right here. The test game again. Looks like Zoom doesn't want to show my little game. Now while I'm loading, if any attendees are here, you can always give me, tell me what your favorite game is, or we can email us some questions along with your favorite game. It's always fun to talk about your favorite game when meeting new people, and it inspires you to make stuff. So here, this is what my game is. Right now, there's like nothing at all, just the sky right here. So I'm gonna pause here for a moment. Think what we need to do next. What could we do next? We could add our foreground tiles now. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna add my little tiles next. And this is here when I wanna think about a little bit about level design. So going back to old Mario games, you can think about when, Mario jumps over, and there's like a little gap right here that players could fall into and make the game harder. When you add difficulty to games, it makes it more challenging and engaging. But we don't want to make it too hard. Like, I have a really short jump and I add a platform all the way over there. So every time I jump, I fall down there. That's too hard and not fun. So you want to keep it where it's kind of hard to do. Maybe someone will fail 1 or 2 times, but after they get it, they can achieve it after 3 tries. So I'm actually going to extend my room here because right here, this is kind of boring right now. There's not really a lot I can do in this small space. So on the left side over here, there's tools that you can use to edit your scene here. The first one is direct selection right here. On the left side, I'm going down over here and I can click my tiles and move them around if I want to like undo some stuff, or I can select it, hit my delete key to get rid of them, or just move it to much better spots. Maybe this little floating platform is perfect for my players, maybe not. I'll learn that from testing. The next tool after selection is this little pencil, which lets you use the different tiles or actors. We'll get to actors soon, but your different elements in it. And the third one on that left side of tools right over there is it just this rectangle on it, and you can make like giant rectangles of tiles there if that's what you want to do. Then we got paint bucket. And then after that, there's this thing called insert column. If I click on that, I get this giant line coming from top to the bottom. And it's got little yellow arrows. So if I click on here, it adds extra rows. It makes my scene longer. And I just click on that and I can make it like a giant room for a long platforming game. Here you go. Okay, now my room is much longer. So you can take this tool if you hold right click down or just click right click. You can see insert column, insert row. Column, you can see that there's a, kind of hard to see, but it's got like a little arrow pointing to the right and left. Right over there, you can see which way it's going to add. Row, up and down. You can see my lines there. And I can add that up and down. If I want to make the room taller, if I right click on that insert column tool again, I can also remove column or remove row, where everything that row is gone. It also makes like a red tower there, so you can see which tiles are getting deleted. I'm just going to Control Z back a little bit because I actually like the original height of my room here. Because my level, if you think about your way you're level designing, I could make a game where my characters like try to jump higher and higher up, maybe trying to escape lava or something. Or I can make a typical, you know, left to right platformer where your character is just like hopping along. Yeah, so I got that. Now I can spend some time level design. I'm going to delete these tiles. Right over here, I'm gonna go to the side here, delete these tiles. Now, I wanna have a few gaps and wanna have a few places where my player could like jump from high platforms, but they're like tiny platforms that could be difficult. So I'm gonna start with a starting spot. Starting spots you usually wanna keep safe on your first level, because people just learning the game, maybe it's someone who's never played a platformer where a character can jump around. You want to give them a nice space to learn first. Of course, our characters are pretty small, so this should be good. Then I'm going to add a little green right over here. If you want to select multiple tiles at the same time, you can hold left click down and extend that box like really big to include all my tiles. Or maybe I can just do a few spots so I can have a tower. So I'm going back to my main green, extending it out. That might be a little too much. So I'm going up to the upper left again, click on my selection tool, and I'm going to delete a few things here. There's my first gap. I don't have any floating platforms yet. I'm just testing, you know, if the player, if they can get across that first gap there. Now, if you guys are trying to like look closer into your screen, you're like, what is that? You can go to the left side and click on this little plus magnifying glass or minus magnifying glass. The plus zooms in, makes things a lot bigger, and then the minus shrinks things down. So I'm going to click this little plus right here, and you can see how much it zooms in with this lighter gray box right here. And there we go, I can zoom in, or I can click the minus because I'm a little too zoomed in. There we go, I can now see things better. Now, you can see on my screen right here, with the tiles, there's one part where it abruptly ends, and it doesn't look that great to me. So I want to click on an edge, tile on the right side right here, the clicker right there, it's now got a rounded corner there, so it looks more natural. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And like I was saying before, I'm keeping this gap here really simple because I want to get people to slowly learn how to play the game. Another way to zoom in and zoom out really fast is to hold Control down or Command if you're on a Mac, and you can use your scroll wheel if you got a mouse to quickly zoom in and zoom out. Now, I'm going to add a little bit more difficulty here. I'm going to make like a little taller platform right here. There we go. And then now I'm going to make a bigger gap here. Now, that's a big gap jump. My character doesn't have super jumping powers like, I don't know, Mario, Superman, know, Captain America's got normal superpowers, but I think this, like, it's going to be a little illogical jumping here. So obviously my character can't get across there. Of course, I got this little gaping spot right here. I want to make it nice with these rounded corners. It doesn't have to be round depending on your art style, but I like the rounded. So I'm going to stick with that there. And I'm going to use this really tiny red block on the right side here. And I'm going to put that right in the middle, right there. So my character go from here on the tower and jump there and then jump here. Now this next part here, I'm going to switch between, make it even larger gap and have it jump, like my character jump across multiple smaller platforms. And then I am going to do a little weird thing here. So we're going to be adding enemies later. I'm going to have an enemy sit right here in the gap right there. And it's going to be a little mean. Now this is going to be a little bit harder to make look nicer. So I'm going to extend the width of that a little bit. There you go. And I'm just going to, have it sneak up on my player right there. Add a little surprise. I'm thinking too, like, you think right here, like maybe my character might jump down, be like, oh no, and fall down there. Yeah, there. Or I can maybe end it a little bit earlier. And maybe add like a secret spot at the bottom right there. Maybe there's a coin. Maybe you can skip around it. Now, right here, my character has to jump all the way down, and that's going to be hard to get to. So I'll put that right there. So people will be like, what's that? And go there and jump over. There you go. That there. There we go. Got my rounding corners. And I'm going to think about how do I want to finish my one. What can I add here? Not that much. I'm just going to have one less step right above, and maybe like 2 enemies that are like walking back and forth. And they can, like, you have to fight them a little bit, and then you get to the end. There we go. There we go. So this is how I have my level right now. I'll look back and forth. I'm going to test it with my character next. So of course, I'm going to click test game because I just finished adding all my platforms. I want to make sure my game is okay. So I'm going to click test game, wait for it to save, compile, load all the code. Oh, I just realized I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Ruth. I am a community learning specialist here at DoSpace. I like parrots. Obviously you can hear, you heard them earlier. And I like playing video games. Again, if you come in late, you can go ahead and share what your favorite video game is. I love to chat about that and how it inspires you. So I'm gonna find my little game window here. Got my old one still open. There it is. Oh, of course, our window that we have is a lot smaller because when we created the game, we set it where it's 640 pixels wide. And as our character goes through, the camera is going to follow our player through. But you do notice I have a bunch of empty space up here. But thinking that's the beginning. So maybe I'll be okay with it. We'll see later when we add our character. So another really good tip is to always save your game before you test it and after you test it. Depending if your computer crashes, because if it crashes, all your work is just gone. And when you're coding, if you do something called like a loop, or like something I have a while state, and you have like something create over and over and over again without any stop, it can overload your computer and crash it. So in certain situations like that, you just want to keep it saved. Always be saving is what I like to say. So next we're going to do is add a player character. Something I forgot to talk about is the dashboard. So you see level 1, that's where our scene is, dashboard. Think of it like your internet browser, like Safari, Chrome, Internet Explorer, where you got all these different tabs you can have open. Right here, got dashboard. That's where all your main stuff lives. You can see right here, I got level 1, and I could create more scenes. I got actors. Actors are your players, your enemies, your collectible items, different things that you want to add some type of interactable element on it. And then you got sounds, and you got font and tile sets. Do you want to add more cool tile sets? If I double click on this, you'll see what I'm talking about earlier, how it breaks it up into a grid. So you can select those different elements. That's just a little side thing there. But now going back to actors, I can click actors here, and this little crash course kit includes some actors already with all the animations. If I go back to that cool fighting cat again, go back, right here, I can make that a character by downloading the sprite sheet. And over here at the bottom, I can click add frames, and I'll have different animations. So to go to walk left, you'll see that there's multiple images. When you import a sprite sheet, it's like a tile set where you have like this like square of different characters on it, and you have to tell Stencil where to separate the lines. So got idle left and idle right. So an idle cycle is an animation loop where that's what the character is doing when they're not doing anything. So you can think about video games where that character's kind of sitting around, maybe they're like, you know, putting their hands on their face thinking, or like bring their hair back, or they're looking around, checking out their arms. I don't know, a lot of video games have characters checking out their arms for some strange reason, or their outfit. You don't see a lot of people do that in public, but it just seems very natural in games. So you can have a lot of cool idle cycles like that. So I got one facing the left, one facing the right. If I only had one facing the right, every time I go to the left, it'll look like my character's walking backwards. And then I got like a little jump thing right here, where like my little Noni character has like a little angrier face with a mouth open as it jumps, just to have a little bit more feedback to players so they know they're jumping. And then that walk cycle for when the feet are going up and down from left or right. So right here we got appearance. That's where we store our images and such. So if I go back to level 1 from my tabs, on the right side there's tiles and actors like we saw earlier. I'm gonna click on actors. There's Noni. That's my character. Now this part we have to be very careful, because if I click on Noni and I go in here, I can accidentally add a lot of players in here. I see it happen a lot in my classes when I teach girls make games, where a lot of people have multiple characters in there. And when you test your game with multiple characters, it crashes. This time it might not. It could, like, because I don't have any behavior set to them yet, but if I both have them set as main character, it can cause problems for my game. Now I'm waiting. Yep, there they are. Just multiple characters. Nothing's really happening yet, but they're there. I'm gonna only have one player, so if that happens, you can always go to your selection tool, find the extra players, delete. Now, if your game is having problems and there's like multiple characters somewhere, you can't find it, on the right side right here, this is layers, inventory. If I click on inventory right here, there's a thing called actors. I'm gonna add more actors again. Draw to get it in there. You can see on the actors inventory right here that I have multiple actors in the scene. If I can just quickly select them instead, and I also can pick a custom position if I want, but I'm just select one, touch the delete key. It won't let me. I'm just going to do it the regular way. So it has it selected there, and there we go. Now it's deleting. Delete and delete. There we go. Now I'm going to go back to palette from actors. Inspector lets you rename things, maybe change an angle if you want. You can see it's rotated there. Change position by exact numbers if that's what you want to do. So I'm going to have my character positioned here. Now, something wrong is going to happen there. my character is going to get stuck right there and it won't be able to move. Because there's a thing in games called collisions, where if you think about those games where someone, like, you try to jump on a platform and your character's like floating in the air right next to that platform, that's usually because there's a thing called a collision box, and they're on that collision box, so they're still standing there. So in here, if they're inside a collision box, my character won't be able to escape from it. So I'm going to bring it up a little bit and have gravity push my character down onto the platform. Now I'm going to test my game again. Well, I got one there. It's not going to be much difference, but there's something missing as soon as we open. So take a moment and think about, what could we add next? Kind of gave away the hint there. But yeah, nothing's happening. So if you thought about what could be added next and you thought gravity, you're right. We're going to add gravity next. Now, in game development, there isn't a lot of order we add in there unless it's dependent on another item. Like an enemy, I could test an enemy out, but an enemy like getting jumped on or like getting hit by something, I can't test without the other item. So next thing, I'm going to add, gravity. Now, do you notice that they go click on dashboard? And if I go back to knowing your player one, whatever you want to name it, there's a thing called behaviors, events, collisions, physics, and properties. And go click level 1 again. You'll see again that there's behaviors, events, physics, atlases, that's something different, and properties. Now, almost every element in Stencil, I think I said GameMaker earlier for some strange reason, but no, we're in Stencil. We can see that we can edit things for behaviors, events, and physics, and properties. It's a little bit difference between the different items. So I'm going to go ahead and click physics. Oh, I see we have an attendee. Welcome. We started right at 2. Hopefully if we release this on public for the full video here, we can, oh, hello. We can catch you up. If you want to try to get back to where we are here, you can download Stencil and download the crash kit. If you look at the tutorial, I'm at the part of adding gravity in Stencil. So we have physics right over here, under physics, under the level, not the character physics. Gotta make sure on that. Character physics are different from level physics. So we have vertical gravity, and we got horizontal gravity. So we want to think about the force as it comes down on us, so the gravity force. So on here with the platformer, we don't have any wind or anything pushing us left or right, but we want to have something else pushing us down to the platform. So I'm going to test this with gravity. I'm going to do vertical going to down force, and I'm going to do 15, 20. You can edit this number as you want. As a game developer designer, these numbers don't have to be a hardcore flat number. So you can just, as you test games, change the number and see how much force you want it. Like, same thing goes with speed, with character speed, or how high they can jump, or if they have an inventory, how fast the inventory opens, or how many items are in the inventory. It all depends on you as a designer. So here, we saw my character fell down again. I'm going to go back to my scene here. I'm going to bring it up so you can see my character falling a lot easier, and then going up to the upper right again and clicking test game. And it's saving, compiling. Here we go. Yeah, with every game engine, when you go test it, it's going to take a little bit to compile. Compiling is just making sure all the code's right so it doesn't crash your computer. And we see there, the character slowly fell down. I'm okay with that. Now, right here, think again, what can we add next? Something I want to point out right now, I'm touching my arrow keys on my keyboard here, and I can't move my character at all. So I'm going to think next, maybe we should add movement. That's a very good thing we want to add. We can't really play a game. We can't really even call it a game yet until we can move our character. So I'm on level 1 right here, scene. If I tell you go to behavior, you're going to be going to level 1 behavior, but that's not what we're doing. I want to go back to dashboard, just like our tabs in an internet browser. Dashboard, got Noni, who's our player character. Double click on it. It's still in the physics tab that I left it. So we got appearance, behavior, events, collision properties. I'm going to go ahead and click behavior here. Now, Stencil, you can hard code in Stencil if you wish. If you know a bit of Python and Java, you can go ahead and do that. But for people who are first-time coders or know a little bit about coding, not confident in writing syntax and initializing your X's for speed or different things, you can go ahead and click here to add a behavior right in the middle here. Or you can go to the lower left and there's like a little plus sign right there. And a minus next to it if you want to delete a behavior. So I'm going to go ahead and click right in here. And I have behaviors. Behaviors in Stencil is like pre-made functions with a bunch of code on them to quickly add mechanics to your game for your players to interact with your game. We got time to pin and reload, jumping, stomping enemies, stompable, walking from the kit. That's specific to this kit. But if you're making any other Stencil game from scratch, you got from your library controls, and you can pick different ones for different things. Like maybe I want to have 8-way movement, or maybe I want to add on-screen button, motion, rules, and other things. Of course, Stencil doesn't have everything, but I could talk about Blockly coding later if time permits. But I'm going to go back and from this game, click from this game all right here, and I'm going to click on this thing called walking and click choose. Now, this is little attributes of what's in the code. If I click on edit behavior, and we're not going to be editing the behavior, but I'm just showing what Blockly code looks like. We see right here, it's got some code right here. And when it's created and when it's updated, it makes the character move. I'm going to go back onto Noni behaviors right over here, walking. For my move right key, I'm going to use my right arrow key. Move left, I'm going to click on left. And for speed, I'm going to keep it 15 now. As I test my game, I might change the number. Again, it's up to you as game designers how you want the speed, like how fast you want your character to move. So for idle right animation, whenever we talk about idle cycle, when it's not doing anything, your character's kind of like standing around hanging out. So idle right, facing right there. Idle left animation, idle left for the Noni. Walk right animation, I'm going to do walk right that we named. If you ever start making your, like adding your own art in there, make sure you name all your animations properly so you know what they are when you add your behaviors in. There we go. And then next, I want to do walk left animation, walk left. There we go. And now I'm going to go ahead and click the test game on the upper right. And it's compiling, saving. Of course, every time I test game, it saves for me, so I don't have to click save game all the time, but make sure you're saving your game. So waiting for that pop up. There we go. My character's flying down, and oh, something's wrong here. It's not turning around. And I can't jump. Oh, I fell down. Oops. So I have to go back through here. Got tile right, tile left, left. Walk right is walk right. Walk left is walk left. There's actually something else that's going on, but I'm going to get to that, address the problem with facing left and facing right soon, because I want to test jumping too. I did say earlier, test after you add one thing in there, but sometimes you can do after two if you can remember what changes you made. If some big bug happens or something really bad happens, just remember what you got and what have you changed so you can go back and fix it. So Noni here, I got behaviors. I'm gonna go to the bottom left, right down here, click that plus. And then I'm gonna add jumping. And I'm gonna click choose. For jumping, I'm just gonna do the up arrow. You can do enter or down. Action 1, I believe, is X. And action 2, I believe, is Z. Under settings, you can actually change your keys. Your controls in here. I'm not going to go over the focus on that much today, but if you want to change it, it's there. So I got up, jump force is 40. That's actually a lot stronger in my gravity, but we're just going to see how that is. I'm going to add the sound jump. So go back to dashboard. you'll see sounds already are in the kit, luckily, so I don't have to go around hunting for sounds there. But got jump, and then I need to choose my right animation. I'm going to do jump right, and then my left animation, which is jump left. Here we go, and test game. It's compiling. Takes a little bit of compiling. Here's my game. I slowly float down, and there's my jump. Oh, like I said, my gravity, way too high there. Oh, it looks like I'm turning around now, and my character fell. So I'm actually going back to, as a game designers, game developers, you always need to go back and change some numbers. So I'm going back to level 1 in physics, because that's where our gravity was. And then I'm going to change gravity to 50, because my jump was way too high, because our jumping force is at 40. I might change my gravity to 40, so it's the same type of force between jump and gravity, but let's see how 50 does. Smiling, there we go. Oh, I fell a lot faster, and my jump is a little bit more realistic. Oh, and I'm gone. Okay, so that's a little bit better. I'm actually going to lower this to 45, and I'm going to save game. I'll come back to it a little bit later, test more things, look over different things here. Jump is fine, move is fine. So remember how I talked about, I'm going to test game again and show you. Might not be as bad because of our walking behavior and our jumping behavior. But if you're making a game from scratch in Stencil or from nothing, and you're starting adding your own things in there, your character might actually like float around and rotate. Right now I can't really see much. Oh, there it is. Got it. Where your character kind of rotates and around. We want to fix that. Now, oh, my character's gone. If you think about how we did level 1 when we added physics, gravity. Think about your character randomly rotating, you don't know why. Might be a physics problem. So I'm going to go to actor types, double click Noni, or just click on the Noni tab. And right here we got appearance, behaviors, events, collisions, physics. Click on physics. So this thing right here says can rotate. No, we don't want that. Affected by gravity, yes. If the character's not falling down, you got gravity in the game, you might want to check your physics of your character or your player and switch it to yes, for it can be affected by gravity. Now, what kind of actor type it is, cannot move, cannot be pushed, or normal, we want to move our character around, so we want to keep it normal. And I'm going to test the game again. I'm going to raise myself up because I'm slowly coming out of camera. So make sure you can still see me as I talk. Be kind of weird if I'm just like this all the time. Now, and I'm saving. It's compiling. There we go. Let's see if I can replicate that thing again. And looks like no. Yep, we're good. Now, think about what we need to do next. It's kind of, I can go ahead and jump across here. And, oh, I'm still alive. I haven't fallen out of the scene yet. You can think about now, we need to get somehow that camera to follow our character around. You think about again, how would I add that? Like we did with a lot of things. We can go back to Noni, which we're already at already. Go back to Behaviors tab right here. And we want to add a behavior. And we can do that by clicking the plus sign on the bottom left. So I'm clicking on that. And I can go through controls, eye candy, or I can search camera and then hit enter, and well, these are the things affecting camera. Nothing comes up. I wonder if something happened with a recent update, but if I go to game and camera follow, the search function's just not behaving, but I know where it is. So behaviors is what I'm on. I went to from your library, game, and the first behavior on that screen is camera follow. I'm going to go ahead and click on that and click choose. So, oh, well actually apparently you guys might not see my face at all. So, oh, that's embarrassing. Here I am, trying to get my face in the screen. But, oh well. So, I'm going to continue on here. Got camera follow. There's a thing called scroll speed. So you think about those games where like it's like scrolling along the level and you have to like run to the right as fast as you can, or you'll get caught by the level scrolling over you. Scroll speed here is just how much the camera follows or lags behind. I'm going to show you what it looks like with just regular 0, scroll speed. Here, it's compiling, saving. Just get used to compiling. Sometimes it takes a long time to compile. That's when you might want to take a break, stand up, stretch a little bit, code it for a while. And there we go. You see that the camera's following. You can finally see my platforms at the bottom as I jump across. Oh, got there and doing all right. So far, oh, nope, fell. Oh, I can still move it back and forth. But I can't jump anymore. I've hit my up arrow key, nothing's happening. But I guess my Yoni's somewhere down there falling for eternity. We gotta stop that because we want our character to be on screen. That will be the next thing we do is fix that. So I'm gonna just hit 5. So that's 5 pixels per second that the camera's following. And I'll show you how it looks in difference. It's compiling, it's saving. A little bit here. There we go. And hopefully it'll show you. Yep. Oh, that was my bad there. I need to get better at my platforming gaming skills. But you can tell that the camera compared to before didn't follow right away. Again, these numbers you add here and change back and forth is just based on your preference of how you want people to play your game. Like maybe you want your character to be super fast. There you go. Now the screen is scrolling over as I move. There we go. So think again what I just said. What do we need to add next? Oh, yeah. Reload the game when we fill out the screen. So I'm still in behaviors for Noni. Click the plus. And there's a behavior here already made, but if you can't find it over there, you can go through like game, die and pit reload. That works right there. But I'm gonna go ahead, die and pit and reload. Choose. This behavior, this is part of the kit someone else that prepared, and they already has like all the code there, but if you click edit behavior, you'll see code someone's put together for this behavior. So I'm gonna go ahead and test game. Here we go, filing. Filing some more. There we go. And I'm gonna purposely jump on the platform. Well, off the platform. There we go. Fades out, fades in, reload. Okay. So if you want to edit the code of the pit, you can. I don't like the way it fades out. So I run player, die and pit reload, you can click edit behavior, takes you here. And this part where it says reload and fade out, I'm going to change that. I'm going to do bubbles out, bubbles in. So it's going to make a little bubble effect. And 3 game breaks, when you change something here, you might want to Control Z or undo a bunch through edit undo. So it's fixed again. But if you want to learn a little bit more about coding, it's always fun to edit the code. There we go. Compiling again. Here I got my character falls. I'm going to go jump off the platform and bubbles. I like that little effect a little bit more. Maybe I like the fade in more. It's up to you how you want to edit, like modify your game. Okay, next thing we want to add. What could we add next? Could be, I don't know, maybe you can add a score. We got gravity. We're not going to do a score today. We don't have enough time for that. You can always look online, look Stencil, how to add score, learn how to add score. If you always want to try some type of new code in there, you can try different behaviors or look online. Let's see. Yep, we got camera follow. Oh, next thing we're going to do is enemy actor. Right here for this kit, they decided to add clowns as the enemy. I guess they thought clowns were funny or very menacing, but Oops, sorry about that again. We have clown here. It's got a idle cycle. The idle cycle looks like a walk cycle to me. So it's going to always walk in place. You can see the animation playing on the upper left here, and then a stopped animation. So I'm going to go ahead, click dashboard. I'm going to click scenes, double click level 1. I'm on physics. I'm going to go back to scene. I'm going to click palette on the right side over here. I'm going to click clown. And I want to think of how, you remember I talked about earlier where I made that little space right there for clown hide? Now, I'm going to put the clown above and gravity's going to push it down into the spot so I don't accidentally like place my clown in the block here and it won't be able to move at all. So I'll put one there. I'm going to put like 3 right here. I'm going to, oh yeah, I didn't think about that there. As you design games, you can think about, oh, I'm going to add this fun little platform here. It leads to nowhere. I didn't think about that. I could modify it later, where it has like a little cave in there for some type of treasure or something. Depends how I want to change up this game. I'm going to put the first introductory enemy right there. I'm going to put one right there, and then test game. Saving and compiling. There we go. And there's my enemies. I go right over there, jump across, and oh, something's wrong. We need to add a way where my character gets hit by the clown. Okay, I'm gonna close this here, and I'm actually gonna add a different type of behavior. So I'm gonna go to my clown tab right here, and I'm gonna go click on behaviors. And then I'm gonna click on the plus right here. And got stompable, stomping enemies, got walking. That's for main characters. I'm gonna do stompable and choose. Choose stomp animation, stomped. It's part of the kit that was added in. And stomp sound. So push force is how the player can push it around before stomp on top. I'm gonna test game. Compiling, saving. There we go. Character falls, and nothing happens still, because we need that behavior to our player too. So whenever you add something to your enemies, you need to make sure that your player is affecting that enemy or the enemy is affecting the player. You do that by adding behaviors that associate with each other. So I'm going to click this little plus here, and then I'm going to click on Stomp on Enemies. Choose Group. Oh, so we got a stompable group here. So sometimes when we add a behavior, the way it affects it is going to be different. If I go through controls, I click the plus sign for adding behaviors, and I'm going to look for one that's like get hurt on a collision. I think it's under rules. So I add a collision with an actor type. If I click that one there, I can choose the actor directly versus the other one's based off a group. I'm going to show you this version first and then show you the other version where it's going by player type of group. It's like basically putting a tag on your character saying this character belongs to a tag group called players, and the other one's like this is a group that belongs to enemies. So here we go. Here's my character, and I know what happened. I'm going to close out of that. And so what's happening is when the character collides with the actor, it will die if the other actor is this type. Thing is, with stomp enemies, it's kind of interrupting that. So I am going to click on the minus over here, remove behavior, yes. And to go to, there's another thing, remember I talked about collisions earlier? So I'm on the clown right here, and click the collisions tab. So it's got a collision right there. Okay, good. I'm going to test game. That little box right there is the location. So if I touch the hat, nothing's going to happen. If I touch the face or the shoes, things will happen. Now, part of me says this isn't going to work because of the way the behaviors are edited. Yeah, I believe there's some other thing that's going on here. But if you weren't working with a kit, this little behavior on Noni about dying collision with active type does work. As of time here, I won't be able to go much into details of how that works. So I'm going to add that behavior again, and I'll talk about group types. I'm going to go add stomp on enemies, and we need to do, what will let me do? Yeah, up key for jumping, and then it's a thing right here that says settings. I'm going to click on settings, and we get that tab again with all of the button controls we can change. I'm going to click groups, and then create new group. I'm going to name it enemies, and click create. And it collides with players, tiles, and actors. And I guess I will collide with the enemies. We're going to see how that changes there. And then if I go to clown right over here, click properties, there's a group right here. It says actors. I'm going to change it to enemies. I'm going to go back to Noni. Now this is the part we may have to slow down a little bit. So when I went over here, so I went to settings, I went to groups, added enemies, collides with everything. I think I might have to change it per actors, but we'll see based on how I test it. Then I went to clown, properties. I went to the bottom, it says choose group, and I choose enemies for its type. Now, I'm going to go to Noni. Remember back in Stomp Enemy, Stompable Group. I'm going to choose, I might have to reload it. Let me go on another thing, come back. Stompable Group, I'm going to remove behavior and re-add it. Remove, yes. Add behavior, stomp on enemies. There we go. Now enemies is showing up. And test. It's compiling and it's saving. There's my game. And there it goes. It worked. And that little sound effect because we added that on the stomp thing. Now I'm going to try to go through my level here. For some strange reason, my stomp sound was a lot louder. Oh no! Huh. That's a bug there, where I can hang on the walls and we sorry and reload, but that might be something I want to edit later. Jump. Get rid of my first enemy. Hop. There we go. Up. Jump. Jump here. Try to get across the scary gap. I can also add a fun thing, you know, if you guys have Mario Maker, where sometimes people add like a little enemy following and you have to jump off the enemy at the same time to be able to make your jump across the platform. Could do something like that. Here we go. Looks like that's not really much of a threat. Maybe I can stack some enemies. And jump, jump. And there's my game. Yeah. So think about what we need to add next. Probably something that ends our game. Maybe we could add a type of flag at the end as we come across it ends the game. We get an end screen that says congrats or something. You can also add a score for how many enemies we jumped on. I know earlier I said we're not going to do score stuff, but maybe actually we will because we actually have a little bit of time for that. So we'll close. And then now I'm going to do score. So I'm going to go to clown, behaviors, and then I'm going to add behavior. And then look for, I believe it's going to be under rules. There's the health manager, utilities, no. Might have to do some Blockly coding here. Hello target. Oh, that actually might be a fun thing for the clown to do, but I'm worried that the clown would jump off the screen if you do that. I'm going to choose that. Let's see what that happens there. So it's got a speed. Move to the line, stop when colliding, easing. The reason why I'm actually hesitant to add this is because under margin, so it will not move a target closer to target than this value. So my little pixels, and we don't have anything checking for if it's going to fall off a platform or not. So I'm going to go ahead and move that. We can take the time. I mean, you can also take the time sometime later to add that behavior and see how it changes your game, but I'm going to do that for the time being. Now, I'll go again looking for score. Okay, but you pause button, reload screens, which looks like we might not have a score behavior, so we're going to code it. Oh, okay. So we're going to code it. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to go to level 1. I'm going to go to events. Now, if you're wondering how to add your own code, it's through events, whether it's on the level or the characters. You click on events to add your own code. So I'm clicking on events here. And I'm going to look for score. We got some Smith scoreboards. I'm actually going to think about it. Okay, you want to think about how you want to code your score here. So you always write these down, but you want it to show on the screen. So that's something we got to code. You want it every time you jump on your enemy, it adds to your score, and it shows up on your screen. And maybe there could be max. You want to have that score or minimum. You want to start with 0. And you want that 0, add 1 for each enemy. So 0 plus 1, and keep that 1, and then do 1 plus 2 for another enemy. So first thing first, get score to show on screen. So drawing. If you want to do effect on the screen, there's drawing. So we have a thing called draw text on screen. If I click this and drag it in, nothing's going to happen because we need to add the event in. So if you look up, if you look on the left side of the events behaviors, there's a thing that says add event to begin. Go up, there's a little plus add event. Click on that. And we got basics, time, sound, bubble. So I'm going to do basics when drawing. This is specifically for drawn events that it adds to the screen. If you do create, it won't work. If you do, I think the other one is when updating. I want to add something. It will change the numbers as we go on. So draw text is our start. I'm going to add that right here. And for X and Y, so in Stencil, I have to remember what it is because various game engines do different things. I'm going to go to my level 1 here, back to scene. And then I'm going to grab my selection tool, grab Noni, and then go to Expector. So the X position of Noni is 11 pixels and 51 pixels high. So I'm assuming X0 starts about on the left side here. Everything to the right is positive. So if I go up here, right here, it's -2, -4. And I'm guessing that's with the upper left of the box is where Noni's origins is. Yep. So if I go in here, type 0, -0, that's fun, 0, hit enter, that's 0, 0. That's where I'm going to put my score on the screen. So now I'm going to go back to events, draw text at, I'm going to do a little bit off the screen, so 10, 10. So if X starts on the upper left corner, 10 over from the X to the right, and then 10 down. So Y starts at the top of 0, going down. Right about here is where we want our little text right here. Hopefully this isn't backwards for you. It might be really confusing, but it just goes from the up here, so X, Y, 0, 0, and down here is it adds numbers on both. So 10, 10, and I'm going to type score and play a game. It's compiling and it's saving. Saving. Oh, where did my game go? There it is. There's score right there. And I move around. It's supposed to fall. Okay, good. Yep, it follows me. Of course, as I hit an enemy, didn't add my score. So that's the next thing we need to do. We got drawing screen score. So we actually need to add a variable called score. Variables in Stencil are called game attributes that we have to create. And I'm going to create one right here. So I click create, new game attribute. I'm going to name it score. I'm going to keep it as a number. Its initial value is 0. Click OK. And where did you go? There it is. So I'm going to start when drawing. Actually, no. Add event basics when creating. So we need to add when created. So that's when just the game starts. It sets that attribute to that. So I'm going to put that right there. Set to 0. Go back to drawing. I am actually going to do some math. So right here we got flow, actor, scenes. And I'm going to do numbers and text. Grab this little plus, and I can fit it right in here with draw text. Now I'm going back to game attributes, set score. There should be another one where I can, might be a little tricky here. Let's go to game attributes, because I'm thinking I'll explain my logic here. So if I click set score and added it here, and I'm adding my score on my enemy, it might reset my score, but let's see how this goes. So I'm just gonna add, no, it doesn't wanna do that there. I'm gonna try to create another attribute or set game name to anything. So got score, initial value 0, default. I'm gonna create a new game attribute, number, score, different categories. Score, throw it into score, get set score, submit score. Here you go. So a lot of things is, sometimes we might come across something we don't know. We got to think it through like, how is this really working? Attributes. Oh. Okay, I'm going to do this a little differently. How I'm setting this up. So, if I click on the little plus right here, I can do little user input, actor, scene guy. Oh, there it is. They moved it in the new update. So I went to text, click on the green, little plus right there, game attributes, score. That's what I was looking for. I was looking for little purple blocks that said score. And then I'm going to do score on the second bubble because the first one is just going to say score. I do text. There we go, score. And now I'm going to test game. Oh, draw text score plus score. So it's going to say the word score with a 0 next to it. Compiling and saving. Oh, looks like I crashed it. Unknown identify score from script scene event 4. Screen event. Okay. It's probably because this right here has nothing. So I'm just going to go over to text. And maybe it's under drawing. Draw image. Actually, yeah, I'm just gonna stick to text right here. Length. I'm gonna go ahead and trash that for a little bit. I'm gonna change this to a number on 0. Because I bet it only takes numbers, which is odd. Okay, it's compiling, saving again. Of course, it's going to say 10. Oh, it's going to number 0 next. So there's some things I need to fix right over here. Go. Okay. So before I fix this, I know what's the issue there. So I'm keeping track of that. Go on to clown, go in events, and then I'm going to add an event where when I collide with a specific actor, oh, that's not what I want. I'm going to delete that right there. There we go. Okay. I'm going to minus that. I'm going to delete an event and click on the minus, add event there, collision. I'm going to do member of group. And then the member of the group, choose group, is players. There we go. So when this actor hits an actor players, I am going to do score plus score equals 1. Because right now, if I just do +1 and I don't add it to score, it's going to not do anything. So I'm going to take the current number score, whatever it is, right now it's 0, and set score plus score plus score equals score plus 1. So it takes, if it's 2, it'll be 2 equals 2 plus 1, 3. So with that, we need to do a little bit of math. And then I also need to set the game attribute here. Now, this is where we actually want setters. Oh, and there's where my score number is getting. There we go, set score, right over there. And I'm gonna get numbers and text with a plus right over here, put right in that box. And then I'm gonna have to grab another one right there. So it's actually, for sure there's a parentheses right here, where it's score parentheses, score plus 1 parentheses. And I'm gonna go back to game attributes, score. So we got score, current number, and oh, actually, score. Actually, I just realized something wrong is gonna go here because it'll be adding so much more. I'm just gonna do +1. So I'll tell you what's wrong with my logic there. Score plus 1 is gonna do, so score is 2, would be 2 parentheses. Plus parentheses, 2 plus 1 would be 3, so it's 2 plus 3 and it'll be 5 in the end. I don't want that. I'm gonna delete that, there we go. And then I'm gonna go back to my level 1 behavior, right over here when created, set score up to 0, that's what I want, and drawing. And then, oh, I'm gonna test game. Now, there's one last thing we're gonna be adding here, because I just realized we don't have that 0 showing up. And yeah, we need that 0 to show up on the screen. Yep, okay. So I'm gonna change this temporarily like that. Test game. There's that 0. Now let's see if my groups works. Oh, my groups do not work. So I'm going to change that a little bit. I'm actually going to do a separate draw text up here just to fix that problem that we're having. And think about it. So if I want this at 10, I'm going to put this at 10 more pixels to the right of that. And now I'm going to go back to the last thing. So this is the last thing to do. Sorry, we're not going to be able to do our flag thing in screen. This would be the last thing to do. So when actors hit types of players, we're going to make sure Noni is in the players group. Okay, good. Over here, it should set score to score plus 1. I'm going to do a test behavior where I just collide with anything else. It's going to go crazy here. It's going to set the score to, I'll do my math. So, nope, that's not it. Set score. I want it to let me cut. Oh, nope, Control Z. I want to copy it. So you can also right click and copy different little functions and blocks here. I'm going to do that instead. Paste. Save, test. Saving, compiling. There you go. Oh, yep, there it is. That number is going crazy right there. I need to move my text a little bit more to the right, but as it's touching the ground, it's going. So we know it works. We just need to get it where when our character, Noni, touches the clown, it sets it to +1. Now, I am going to delete both of these events because I'm actually only focusing on the score where it's adding, not adding it, but where the score is displaying, because you still have the numbers overlapping together. That doesn't look good to me. It's also hard to read. So quickly, I'm going to look how that looks. Maybe I need to set it more than 20 pixels to the right. Yep, I'm going to add a little bit more to it. So that is under level 1, score. So score itself is being drawn at 20x 10y. So I'm actually going to set it 100 for right now, just to test it, how far it is. It's compiling, doing a little compiler dance. There it is. Oh, that's a little bit better. Yeah, there we go. So I severely underestimated how many pixels are across the screen right there. Saving, compiling. So I just changed the numbers you didn't notice. X to 80, just to have a little bit less, and I tested the game. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. Yep. Oh, okay, there we go. Score 0. I like that how it looks. I'm just going to add a semicolon at the end of score right there. And then now we're going to do our last thing here, where we were trying to make it where I just realized where I went wrong. We're going to add the score, because whenever a clown destroys itself, it's gone. And so I'm going to go over here. I'm going to put a Noni instead, where we add score when Noni destroys the other character. So when this actor collides with a specific actor, let's choose attribute. Nope. That is not the one I'm looking for. I'm looking for along lines where specifically I am colliding with a specific actor. And I'm going to do, that's something else, because that'll be everything else. The actor of type, choose attribute. So attribute, I could do that. Oh, there we go. Choose actor type, clown. That's what I'm looking for. I'm going to go to this other one here and delete it. So whenever I hit that the clown, I am going to, again, go over here, game attributes, score. Actually need to do math here. No, score, sorry. I got a little backwards there. I'm going to go to setters, set score to score equals to score +1. So I need a little bit more math. A little plus right there. Go back to game attributes to scatters. Put game right there, and then we're going to do +1. So I just type the number 1 in there and test game. Now, this should be the last thing. Now, if it's still broken, I'm going to keep testing and fixing it, but this should be the last thing, and that's it. There we go. I'm going to jump. I'm going to test this out. And there we go. 1. I'm going to try to finish my level. 2. Jumping across. I'm going to get this one right here. 3. 4. 5. 6. There we go. Got a 0.6. Now, of course, I can add clowns everywhere. Got my little, oh, I can get out of there. My little weird platform adder right there. Here we go. Nope, can't get up higher. I am stuck. Here we go. Oh, that is mostly it. Oh, and so he sets the score back to 0. We're good there. Yeah. So I just realized there's one last thing we can do. So we got our game saved right here. And go. Oh, I just realized. So Stencil used to let you publish games even if you're on the free version, but recently they changed it where you have to buy the engine from them. So it used to be where you go to publish web and you choose Flash and it'll download a Flash file to your desktop and you'd save it, but not so much anymore. But let's see, export game. No, that's only for Stencil files. Yeah, that's unfortunate, but it does let us make games on our own. And maybe if you want to show our friends off our fun little platformer here, we can, just pull up Stencil up on that computer and such and show it off to them. Otherwise, you could buy Stencil if you want to try it out. Honestly, I think Stencil is just pretty good for like learning how to make games rather than publishing games. I highly recommend other game engines like Game Maker, Unreal, Unity. Unreal and Unity are free. Game Maker is not, unfortunately. But those other options typically are way better than Stencil, in my opinion. And a lot of things, like if you ever try those other engines out, you're gonna be like, wow, this is so much better than Stencil. But Stencil makes a lot of things simpler, where it's really good to start out learning how to make games with this. Yeah. Now we're gonna talk about earlier how that we can design, change the numbers we want. I'm gonna go a little crazy here. And I'm gonna go to dashboard, actor types, Noni. Oh, I'm gonna go to behaviors. I am gonna change jumping to 100 and walking to 50. Test game is my last little thing. Now, if you type, really crazy high numbers in your variables and such design side, it's always fun to try out, but in the end, it's kind of like, okay, I can't really play, thing. Oh, there we go. You go off and you jump across and there I am. I'm done. I got to the end. So that's not very challenging, but it can be fun in some extent if it's like a really long level and I'm like platforming across. Oh, there we go. So you want to be, you want to test things out with users to see how the different like numbers of your game for different variables works. Well, that is mostly it for Stencil. I already saved it. And that's mostly it for making your first game with Stencil. I'm just going to go over a few things. You can download Stencil by just looking up Stencil on Google or such, or go to Stencyl.com and you can download it. It's free for the initial version. It lets you create games pretty easily. And then you can always go to opengameart.org for free game art that isn't licensed, because we don't want to steal or use other art that is licensed. So OpenGameArt lets you download things for free without you having to worry about that. And we got the kits from the Crash Course kit from Stencil.com. You go to Crash Course. If you needed a text tutorial, Stencil has a text tutorial of what we did here. We kind of did this more than once. You guys can like hop in and ask your own questions. That's what we're here for. And of course you can save your game and show off your friends, with your computer Stencil on it. Now, after you make your games, we could go to iHeartDoSpace.org, and we want to hear what you guys are doing. So I have the website right here, and I can choose, I'm creating a game, or making a game. I go next, and I can add a description, name, maybe add a photo, and post it. Like lots of other people have made really cool projects already. So thinking during this time we're all online, we can post what we've been doing this time for extra learning while we're home for either 2 weeks to a month. So there's that. And if you guys have any questions, you can email us at hello@dspace.org about various questions, whether you got about Stencil, he'll be forwarded to me, or other questions like, hey, when are you guys open again? Or, hey, what kind of other online classes you have? And we'll answer you there. So thank you very much for watching me today, show you how to make a game, a very simple game with Stencil. Thank you very much for, again, joining in for us or watching this much later, and have a good day.